Hi, my name's Coach Judith, and I am inviting you to another episode of Quarantine Coding Club. We've been doing this for a while. A little bit about myself: I have been a coding instructor for several years, and I've also worked in industry prior to that. I'm enjoying teaching these online classes as we all get used to this format. It was at first a little different, but it's getting much easier, I think, and a little bit more fun than at first. So, what we're going to be doing is watching a video that my coworker Steven made. This particular video is a little different than prior videos. He is going to walk through his process of debugging something that is not working in his code. I'm gonna be stopping the video as we're watching it along the way and having some commentary. And this will be divided into two different YouTube videos. Here goes.
So today is, out of necessity, going to be a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at my production process because there are some technical difficulties. I have opened the ShotCut file for the 5-minute episode that I wanted to be uploading today at exactly 8 o'clock.
Okay, so just a little background. Stephen has been creating videos, and prior to this one, they were 5 minutes long, with each minute being a different a different part of his topic. This particular video is different because he wasn't able to create a 5-minute video yesterday.
That's right now. So as you can see, I can't do so because in minute 2, it just says technical difficulties, skip this segment, which is what I put in there just to remind myself not to upload this. Minutes 3, 4, and 5 are all just fine. So today I'm going to be debugging that, and this episode is just a quick unscripted episode that I put together so that you would know what it is that I'm doing with my creative pipelines behind the scenes of this show.
Okay, so I just want to define the word debug. He said he's going to be debugging. When we write code, if there's a mistake and you have to figure out what the mistake is, we are debugging it. There's a little bit of history behind that. When computers were very large, then the original term, the rumor is, there was a bug, an actual bug that went into one of these giant computers many years ago and caused the machine not to run, and they had to remove the bug. They had to debug it. But now what we mean is, and I don't know if that's actually even true, but that is the story. But what we mean now is, by debugging, something didn't work and we need to go through our code and figure out where the problem is.
Long story short, I need to figure out why minute 2 is not rendering. This comes back to those pipelines that I have been talking about. In week 1, episode 5, I discussed whether or not I should continue working on those pipelines or whether or not I should start trying to build a value funnel, which is ultimately what I did in the very next episode.
All right, just a little background there. Steven's been creating these videos, and the purpose of them is to teach coding, and he has been spending a lot of time creating the videos. So in one of the prior videos, he showed us how he sped up his process of creating the videos. And in another one of his videos, he was talking about using a Facebook page to get people in his neighborhood to become a community virtually.
Week 2, episode 1. But here we are today in what will be week 2, episode 2, and it's very clear I need to work on those pipelines. That is the current next thing to be doing. I thought maybe I could skip it and go to a conceptual piece about the extended mind, but today I'm going to have to figure out why minute 2 isn't rendering. So to that end, and to try to make today still a valuable thing for anyone who's following the story and anyone who might be trying to learn how to code, let me just give you a tour of what you're seeing here and what my thought process is, and a little bit about how I'm going to go about the process of debugging this technical difficulties in minute 2. Well, first things first, welcome to my laptop. This is not an operating system that most people use. This is Ubuntu.
Okay, this is Ubuntu. So I just want to show you that is a strange word. This is how it's spelled, Ubuntu. That is the operating system that Stephen uses. Probably most of you that are watching this video are using Windows or a Mac OS operating system. You might be using Chrome on a Chromebook, but Stephen is using a Linux operating system called Ubuntu. Let's keep watching.
Ubuntu Linux. It's one of the more popular versions of Linux, but still in the minority of operating systems that people use, and so it may be kind of unfamiliar to you. I'm using what is called a tiled window manager. As you can see, I'm opening up several different command prompts right here. I don't usually do this, but I just wanted to illustrate that I can. In fact, I can even switch modes and start subdividing my space horizontally.
Okay, so just so that you see what he's done here, this is where he originally had, where he could put in his commands, but he's created this space and this space and this space and this space, and then he subdivided so he had all these little blocks here. So he could actually run code in each of these different rectangles or squares.
And so now I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different command prompts. I can kill all of these with Control D, kind of get back to a more sane layout. Oftentimes I'll just split one program on the right and one program on the left. But I then additionally I have 10 different workspaces. So here's where OBS is, where I'm recording. Hello.
Okay, now he refers to OBS, so let me just show you that. That is this open broadcaster software. I'm actually using it too to create my video. You can download this for free and create videos yourself.
This is workspace 1, where I am debugging my technical difficulties. This is workspace 3, where I was just now showing you my YouTube channel. I have workspace 0, which has some consoles for some stuff that's running.
Did you guys hear that? Stephen has workspace 0. He is such an engineer. He always starts counting at 0.
That I don't want to have to think about. You'll notice one thing that's very different about a tiled window manager is that windows never overlap. You never get this, like with paper, two pieces of paper and they overlap, they cross. A tiled window manager solves that problem. So you never have a window behind another window. You never have a window that you can't see unless you put it on a different workspace. I do.
Have you ever had that problem if you're using more of a common program, Windows or Mac OS, where you have two windows and they are one on top of each other and it's hard to see, and then you click on one and then it covers the other? So what he's saying is that using his operating system, he never has that problem unless he chooses to create something on top like he's done here, which he's about to describe.
Have a mode where I can put the window into floating window mode, and you notice that it's on top of the two windows behind it. So I can say echo hi, using a language here called bash.
All right, the language bash, that is the shell that he is running on top of Ubuntu. That is the language he's referring to there.
That is a mode that you can use, but the whole reason I'm using a tiled window manager is so I don't have to ever be in that mode where there's windows on top of windows on top of windows on top of windows. I don't like it. So just to round things off here, let me take you into my project folder. So I have videos, COVID, coding versus, and episode 12. That's how I have things organized.
For those of you who are used to more of a graphical user interface, Stephen is typing in commands here. You always have that option with a graphical user interface, but you probably are more likely to open up a file manager where you see files as images. So nothing really scary here, just he is typing in a command prompt.
On my computer, because I do more than just these videos, and or at least maybe one day I'll go back to them. And so here we have, in minute 2, I have all of the files for all of the illustrations, the ones that I took right there. I have them sitting in this folder, and I have them named. So, for example, there's artists on your right, .mov, and brain left, .mov, and engineers on your left, .mov, all of which correspond to some line in the script that I voiced over on that minute. What is supposed to pull all of those together and spit out a ShotCut program is this file right here called to_shotcut, which I wrote. And
I think I have, oh yeah, here. This is the ShotCut program that Stephen is referring to. This is the program he is using to create his videos. It's also free and open source. And he's about to show you this code that he is using.
And it's in a custom domain-specific language that I wrote. That language is defined in this file right here, this code folder to shotcut. Just some quick and dirty scripts that I wrote. I could go there if I wanted to and show you the code. And this actually was the subject of one of the past episodes where I started on this code, and I have been evolving it since. I just not enough to make a full episode out of. But what it allows me to do, all that code that I wrote, if I don't look at it, I just use it in my program, is I
just want to put a little quick explanation. This code that he's written is in a language called Racket. You can download Racket. Racket is a really cool programming language that you can use to write programming languages. So Stephen has written, he says this language called folder to shotcut. He's written it in Racket, and it is the program that is helping him create these videos we're watching.
get to write this very sort of terse syntax where I'm just saying that I want to combine a bunch of illustrations. I think you can see that basically every line of code here is either a comment, which is just a note to myself.
Okay, a comment. So this semicolon is the beginning of a line that is a comment, meaning that when he runs the code, it will not do anything with this line. So he can just put whatever he wants after that comment. This is a note that he is giving to himself, but also anybody who would be looking at this code in the future might be able to read through the comments and figure out what the code means. I am a big proponent of using comments in your code so that other people can read and understand it in the future. Or if you haven't seen it in a while, it'll remind you what you wrote.
It says, if I were giving a speech and say, that's just the line that I would be speaking at that time, so the first few words of that line and the last few words of that line, and I noted that it's about 6 seconds long, and then I just say that it's going to be an illustration that's 6 seconds long, and that it will be this file, giving a speech and say.mov, one of those that I recorded from that camera mounted on the articulating arm.
Okay, so he has written this probably function called illustration, and the function takes in these different parameters that show that it is a 6 second long tiny piece of a movie. It's called giving speech and say, and this is the word that words that he wants to say when you're watching this little tiny clip. And then he has going to combine all these different illustrations to create each minute of his movie. This is where we're going to conclude the commentary for this half of Stephen's episode. We will be looking at a response of the second half in a separate YouTube video.